I have always maintained on this platform that in politics, there is nothing like mere coincidence. Everything in politics is normally well planned, well scripted, and well executed to achieve a desired objective. Earlier today, President Uhuru Kenyatta made changes to Jubilee leadership at the Senate. And in his own wisdom, President Uhuru Kenyatta decided to appoint Samuel Poghisio, the senator for West Pokot, as the minority leader. Pogishio is taking over from Kipchumba Murkomen. Kipchumba Murkomen is not your ordinary senator. This is a man who deserved that title. He worked hard for Jubilee Party. He's a close ally of the deputy president. But the president decided not to go for any other person, but for Pogishio. So today I want us to look at the possible reasons why President Uhuru Kenyatta had to settle on Samuel Poghisio. But before we do that, if you're bumping on this video for the first time, I want you to take a second or two and hit the subscribe button so that next time you produce a video like this one, you'll get notified. Now back to the main issue. In 2013, President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy entered into an alliance ahead of that election. And both of them contested on two different parties. Uhuru, TNA, Ruto, Jubilee. In 2017, Ruto, URP. In 2017, in their own wisdom, these guys decided to merge their political parties. So URP merged with the TNA and they formed a political party called Jubilee Alliance. And Uhuru Kenyatta became the party leader of Jubilee Party. And when these guys were merging these political parties in 2017, one political party refused to merge, but instead worked together or supported President Uhuru Kenyatta. That party is called KANU. So in Rift Valley, KANU sponsored several candidates. And at the end of the day, KANU emerged in the entire country with only 3 senators. And one of the senators is Gideon Moi. And the other one was Samuel Poghisio. And for those who follow politics, in 2013, Poghisio was actually defeated on URP ticket. And he believed he was denied the ticket. So in 2017, he decided to contest on KANU ticket. And Ruto really tried so much to stop any KANU candidate from winning those seats. In Baringo, where Gideon Moi emerged the winner, it was just a miracle because the guy who was contesting for the governor, Chelugoi, the cabinet secretary, was actually more powerful and was more popular on the ground. The DP had to convince him to contest for the Senate because he was popular against Gideon Moi, because the DP believed by doing that, he was going to defeat Gideon Moi. In West Pokot, the same thing was happening. The DP had his people. And Samuel Poghisio and John Lonyangapuo decided to contest on KANU ticket against the wave of Jubilee in that region. So John Lonyangapuo managed to win the gubernatorial seat against one of the close allies of the DP, the former governor. Was he called Chapakin or something? The former governor. And Samuel Poghisio also made a comeback as a senator in West Pokot. And that's how Samuel Poghisio made a comeback to national politics. But because of the current politics we are witnessing, President Uhuru Kenyatta entered into a partnership or coalition agreement with Gideon Moi. So Jubilee and KANU are currently called Jubilee Coalition. So they entered into an agreement. And initially, the talks were that Gideon Moi was going to be the one who was going to be the majority leader. But that did not happen. So at the end of the day, Samuel Poghisio is the senator. Why Samuel Poghisio? 5 reasons. Number 1 is the dynasty narrative. Assuming today, President Uhuru Kenyatta made Gideon Moi the majority leader, the talks about narrative, about dynasties would be all over the country. And these guys, because President Uhuru Kenyatta has access to intelligence, they had known that appointing Gideon Moi or making Gideon Moi the majority leader was going to ignite that narrative, that Kipchumba Murkomen was being kicked out because he comes from a poor background. That Uhuru Kenyatta was actually preparing ground for another dynasty. That Uhuru, Gideon, and Raila are teaming up because they are dynasties. And to beat that, they went for Samuel Poghisio. Samuel Poghisio, who knows his background? Very few people. So to beat that dynasty narrative, these guys had to go for Samuel Poghisio. The second reason is what can be called political stability or maturity. The president realized that there was a lot of jokes at the Senate, and there's also other jokes at the National Assembly. The leadership, Jubilee leadership in those places. At the Senate, Susan Kihika and Kipchumba Murkomen were too partisan. They were just advancing their tanga objectives and agenda in Parliament at the Senate, instead of advancing the agenda of the president. At the National Assembly, at least the majority leader, Adan is a bit more mature. The whip, Ben Washiali, is a bit more mature. So the Washiali and Duale at least are not misbehaving the way these two gentlemen. I mean, the way Kipchumba and Kihika were misbehaving. So the president went for someone who is mature politically. Samuel Poghisio was first elected in 1993 as a member of parliament. Then, again in 1997, he was elected. In 2002, this guy was elected on ODM ticket. Remember the time ODM wave swept the entire Rift Valley? And he was even made assistant minister. In 2007. In 2013, he lost. And now 2017, he made a comeback. But those who have listened to this guy, he's soft-spoken, very mature politically, and has that stability. So the president needed someone who is stable, someone he can call to a meeting and then discuss certain issues without the fear that when they discuss certain things, these things are going to find their way into a political rally somewhere in Rift Valley. And of course, Kipchumba Murkomen, Susan Kika were now not advancing the agenda of the president at the Senate. Take for example, and I believe this is why Kipchumba Murkomen has been kicked out. The president, in his wisdom, decided to transfer certain functions from the, to enter into transfer, deed of transfer, and transferred certain functions from the county government to the national government. Kipchumba Murkomen, who is the majority leader, who should actually be the one advocating or standing for that, stood on the floor of the house and opposed it viciously. Not because of any other thing. Kipchumba Murkomen and the rest believes that Sonko was being fought because he belongs to Team Tanga. So the president is not keen on that. He didn't want to engage in that kind of politics. Number 3, I think loyalty. I think the president was looking at someone who can be loyal to him. Mpaka mwisho. And because Jubilee Kanu had 3 senators, and the president had to get someone from Rift Valley, he looked at all those other senators from Rift Valley. And I've seen Oscar Sudi has actually posted that the Professor Kamar was in Gishu Senator, actually sent her apology for not attending that meeting at State House. He would have attended. But the president looked at the entire Rift Valley and figured out, of all these people who can be loyal. Who can be loyal? And he arrived at this guy. And I'm understanding the politics behind the president's move. Let's agree. Kanu has only 3 senators. And this guy has been made the majority leader. Do you think this guy can betray the president? Any attempt to do that, he can be easily kicked out. If the president had gone for another senator, let's say even someone else just agreed, even the Jubilee senators, let's say even Cherargei agreed to play balls and is made the majority leader, he can't be trusted because he still belongs in Jubilee, and that Jubilee can still give the president some headache. So the president realized that for me, I need to bring someone who comes from a minority party, 3 senators, and I make him a majority leader. By that alone, that's pure politics, and it's clean and square, one of the best politics. So Senator Poghisio will not attempt to be disloyal to President Uhuru Kenyatta. Don't be cheated. Kipchumba Murkomen can talk, Kika can talk. These positions at the Senate and the National Assembly, they are very powerful. The majority leader, that's a very powerful position. If you go to the offices, they're the biggest. They have the number of secretaries they have, just too much. The staffs they have, more than any other. They have researchers, they have research assistants, they have so many benefits come with that office. So Pogishio would not want to lose that. So he's going to be loyal to President Uhuru Kenyatta. And even if you leave that, the president is currently fighting with William Samoei Ruto. He wants someone with a proven track record as one who cannot support the DP. And that's how Pogishio is coming in. Pogishio will not support the DP. He will stick with his Kanu. That one take to the bank. And now Pogishio has been elevated. Kanu will now have the strength in at least the visibility there. Number 4 is Rift Valley politics. Rift Valley politics. The president and his team, in my view, have mapped out Rift Valley, and they've realized that there are certain areas in Rift Valley where they can't interfere because the DP is just too strong in those areas. They've also realized that at least there are areas they can venture into. And this is how I want you to look at the BBI rally in Narok. And I explained to you here that the system was very keen on removing the Masais from Ruto camp. So the Masai, that's why in the entire Rift Valley, Masais had their own BBI. So the president and the team have also realized that this guy comes from Pokot. Pokot, they have the governor. West Pokot, they have the governor, Kanu, the Lesoda, also elected on Kanu, the senator elected on Kanu. So they can use that to elevate this guy. So this guy is now going to shine. TV's interviews he will get. When people go for a funeral somewhere, he now has a title he can use. When you are elected, you have a platform. Now, when you are appointed at that level, he also has a platform. Today, next time the president goes to a funeral, for example, in Rift Valley, the person who will speak, it will not be Kipchumba Murkomen. Murkomen was given that platform. He was speaking everywhere the president was. Now Pogishio is the one who will be doing the talking. So it's being elevated. And lastly, I think it's the Kanu Jubilee coalition. President Uhuru Kenyatta has entered into a coalition with the Kanu. He's telling Kanu, I'm serious with this. Muchukwe. Muchukwe. So Kanu wamechukua. In return, remember, Uhuru was a former chairman, Kanu chairman. Uhuru handed over Kanu to Gideon. He's the president. Is Uhuru also planning to hand over the presidency to Gideon Moi? It's only a matter of time. But from where I sit, I strongly believe that those are the reasons why the president had to go for Samuel Poghisio. I don't see any other person in Jubilee who would have fitted the shoes of Kipchumba Murkomen. I don't know what you think, but that's my take. And if you are bumping on this video for the first time, I want you to take a second or two and hit the subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, you get notified. And tomorrow, I now want to dissect into pieces the president's action, the president's move to kick out Kipchumba Murkomen. We are doing a thorough video on that tomorrow. So until that time, it's Lee Makwiny.